Hello, thanks for joining me. This is going to be an approximately 25 or 35-minute session where we will warm up the body and build strength and work pretty hard. I'd call it an intermediate level class. And the idea is that when you only have 25 minutes, a half an hour, you could do this class. And then if you have an hour and can practice a little bit longer, you could finish this class and then do a second one of my deep opening classes, which runs also about a half an hour and includes a Shavasana. If you just do this class, at the end, I'd recommend giving yourself a few minutes in Shavasana. But let's leap right into it and begin. We'll start with some sun salutations after we do a little bit of centering. So the first step would be to find yourself in a comfortable seated position where you have room on both sides of you so that you can raise your hands up to the sides. So stack your spine up so that the head is nicely resting with the ears aligned with the shoulders, the head and the shoulders over the hips. Settle into your body. Allow a little bit of stillness to enter into your physical body and try to allow that stillness to enter into your mental processes as well. Checking in with the breath and taking a few deep and long, full breaths. Closing the eyes if you like. And identifying which muscles need to be active, which muscles need to be working right now. And letting the muscles that don't need to be active, that don't need to be engaged, relax. So the muscles in the face can relax, in the shoulders. Certain muscles in the torso need to remain gently engaged to maintain your position upright, but try to relax the muscles that don't need to be working. In the pelvic area, the area in between the sit bones, let all of those muscles that can relax. And likewise in the legs, let the muscles in the legs and the feet relax. Good. So we started in this moment of relaxation. We'll build up to fairly intense movement and then we'll slow back down to Shavasana, either now during this program or after the second program if you decide to do both. Let's start to build up, starting with very gentle movements, trying to remain entirely present with the movement, keeping the focus on the movement. Slowly raise the arms out to the sides, tracing a big circle. The palms will naturally turn towards each other as you raise the hands overhead. And then with your exhale, trace an even bigger circle, bringing the hands back down. Let the breath lead the movement. The fingertips touch the floor, and then raise the hands back up again. Feeling the shoulders and feeling the breath. Noticing if your upper traps, if the muscles that run down from your upper neck and head to your shoulders are overworking. Try to initiate the movement from the lower parts of your shoulder blades, of your scapula. Inevitably, thoughts will arise. When you notice you're thinking about something, just let go of the thought gently. Come back to feeling your body, feeling this movement that you're engaging. Good. A few more breaths. You can allow the chest to raise up just slightly with the inhalation. And then with the exhalation, the chest comes back to pointing forward at the end of the exhalation again. One more breath. And the exhale brings the hands down so the fingertips touch. And then bring the hands onto the floor in front of you, coming onto your hands and knees in a tabletop position so that your wrists are directly below your shoulders and your knees are directly below your hips. Actively press your hands into the floor. And before we do anything else, tuck the tailbone, feel that connection between the lowest ribs and the front of the hips. If you don't feel that, if you press down into the hands and raise the weight of the knees off the ground slightly, you'll feel that engagement. It's like you're wearing a belt across your torso. Good, feel that. And then extend the right foot out, pressing into a wall behind you. Feel that for a breath or two, the right knee pointing down. The neck is long, and you're gently pulling your hands back towards your knee, towards your left knee, and then bring that right knee down. Raise up the left leg, extend it back behind you, pressing into an imaginary wall, squeezing the back of the left leg, still with that core engagement. Take a breath, and then bring that knee down. And again, extend the right foot out, keeping the hips level. Extend the left arm out as well with the palm facing to the right. Good. Feel the flat back. Feel the strong core that you've got. And then bring that hand and that knee back down and go to the other side. Pressing into the left hand, actively send the right arm out, the left leg back. And then bring that hand down and that knee down. One more, extend the right leg back, extend the left arm forward. And then with your next exhale, pull the left elbow and the right knee towards each other, squeezing them together, maybe slightly past each other, and then extend out again, lengthening from the fingertips to the heel. Do a few of those, exhaling, pulling the elbow and the knee together, inhaling, reaching out. And again, just feeling what you're doing. When the mind wanders, just bring it back, letting go of the thought, and reconnecting with the sensations in your body. One more. And then with the next exhale, bring that hand and that knee down and extend out the left foot and the right arm. And then with your exhale, draw those 2 points past each other, the elbow and the knee sliding past each other with each exhale and extending away with each inhalation. If you're collapsing in your left arm, press into that hand, raise the center of the chest a little bit further away from the floor, and keep moving with your breath. We'll do one more, and then bring that hand down and that knee down. We're going to go right into low plank. So bring your forearms onto the ground, palms can be pressing to the floor or fingers interlocked, and then tuck the toes, tuck the tailbone once the knees come off the ground, and press down into your forearms. We're going to add just a little bit of a movement, only say an inch or two in either direction. With your inhale, slide the shoulders forward. Exhale, move them back, pressing into your forearms, center of the chest moving away from the floor, chin tucked, neck long. One more time, forward with the inhale, back with the exhale, and then bring the knees down and come into your first downward facing dog. Come into a very gentle downward facing dog and walk the dog, raising one heel then the other, shift the hips, move about. Explore your body and feel how the different joints in your body feel right now. Pressing a little bit more into one hand and then the other, shaking out the head, and then look forward. Press into the hands, almost like you're pulling your hands towards your feet. Tuck the tailbone, feel the core is really engaged, and then walk the feet forward in between the hands. Inhale, come into a half lift, touching the shins, neck long, still feeling that connection between the lowest ribs and the front of the hips. So your back is flat, your core is strong, and you're extending your tailbone away from the head. Take one more breath here. And then with your next exhale, fold down. With your inhale, reverse swan dive up, strong core as you raise the hands up overhead and you come into a very gentle back bend. Exhale the hands down to the center of the chest. Feel the hands pressed. We'll do a few sun salutations. With your next inhale, send the hands up overhead, coming into a gentle back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine, touching the shins or the floor. Step the feet back and slowly lower. For this first sun salutation, we'll go all the way down onto the chest, point the toes back, peel the chest up, elbows next to the ribs. Bring the head down, press back to your downward facing dog. Look forward, press into the hands, step the feet in between the hands, and inhale into your half lift. Fold with your exhale. Reverse swan dive up, coming into your back bend. Exhale the hands down to the center of the chest. We'll keep flowing. Inhale the hands up, chest raising up towards the sky. Exhale, fold. You can always move at your own pace. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Step the feet back. This time we'll exhale down slowly, slowly, and then inhale up into upward facing dog, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. The core is still engaged. Bring the head down, press back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step or float the feet in between the hands. Inhale, half lift. Fold with your exhale. Reverse swan dive up with a full inhalation. And then exhale the hands down to the center of the chest. We'll keep flowing. Inhaling up into your back bend. Exhaling to fold. One more sun salutation, just the same as the last. Inhale, half lift. Step or float the feet back. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step or float the feet in between the hands. Half lift with your inhalation. Exhale, fold. And reverse swan dive up, coming into your back bend. Exhale the hands down. And then relax the hands by the sides. Take a few breaths in your Tadasana, just feeling the body, not trying to adjust anything, just present with the sensations. Good. We're going to continue with a few more sun salutations or a series of postures based on the sun salutations, but we'll add pieces, hold certain postures longer, start really building strength and really warming up the body. With your next exhale, float the hands to prayer. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Step or float the feet back. Hold in your plank. Now you have the option. You can bring the right knee forward, draw it to the outside of the right elbow, or you can stay in the initial plank position. Either way, the tailbone is tucked. You're pressing into the floor to raise the center of the chest away from the ground. And you're feeling your core really working while taking even breaths. If the right knee is forward, bring it back, reestablishing connection between the right toes and finding the balance between the two sets of toes. And then bring the weight into the right toes and send the left knee forward if you want that extra challenge. Make sure that the shoulders aren't crunchy enough next to the ears. Draw them away, pointing the elbows back. So you're doing a little bit of rotation of the arms to point the elbows back behind you. And if the left knee is forward, bring it back. Take one more inhalation in your plank. And with the next exhalation, slowly lower. See if you can hover for a moment before inhaling up into upward facing dog, spreading the shoulders wide. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step or float the feet in between the hands, but this time drop the bum down. Bring the big toes to touch, heels open apart just a little bit. Touch the floor with your fingertips and then raise the hands up. And keep the tailbone tucked with the weight primarily in the heels. If you can go a little bit deeper, do that. Yeah, challenge yourself. Make your legs burn. Let the shoulders be comfortable, but raise the hands high with the elbows straight. If the hands need to come out a little bit, that's fine. What we don't want is we don't want you to squeeze the shoulders up like that. Let the shoulders be comfortable. Imagine that they're wrapping around the outsides of your ribs. 3 more breaths, go a little bit deeper. I know this is challenging. Challenge yourself. You'll feel better afterwards if you really challenge yourself during this series. And your discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, and the easier it is to continue doing it. Whatever that is that you're applying your discipline to. With your next exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Feel that long spine. Exhale, fold again, and step the feet back, coming back into plank. This time we're going to go into side plank. So send your left hand straight up in the air, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders. You're welcome to bring the right knee down if you need to. Tuck the tailbone, press the hips forward, and reach the top of the head away from the heels. So you're trying to grow as long as possible, and at the same time, extending the fingertips of the left hand up towards the sky, pressing into your right hand and feeling that your hand is active. If you can raise the tailbone up a little bit, the hips a little higher, do that for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly with control, bring the left hand down, come back into your plank. And then when you're ready, raise the right hand up into the air. Still tailbone is tucked, spine is long. Then raise the hips a little bit higher, reaching those right fingertips up towards the sky and looking up as much as is comfortable for your neck. So don't crank your neck and try not to overwork in the neck. Raise the hips a little bit higher for the last breath. And then with control, slowly bring that right hand down, coming back into your plank. With your exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step or float the feet in between the hands. Drop the butt down. Send the arms out to the sides. We're going to do a dynamic movement that's rather challenging. We'll start by bringing the left toes back to touch the floor. We're going to go into Warrior 3. You could do this with the hands extended out in front of you if you prefer. We're going to raise the knee up, and then with the exhale, slowly bring the knee forward and up. Inhale, keep that core engagement, sending the left foot back, coming into Warrior 3. Exhale, bringing the knee up in front of you, finding your balance. If you fall out, don't worry. Just reestablish, reconnect to the breath, and start again. Trying to keep the hips level so they don't open out to the side. The left knee during the Warrior 3 position is pointing down towards the floor and straight out in front of you when it comes forward. Let's do one more. And this time we're going to hold it in the Warrior 3 position, choosing that focal point, that drishti, in front of you on the floor. Finding your balance for 3, 2, and 1, and slowly bring that foot back down. Send the arms up over the head for a moment, and then out to the side again, and send the right leg back. Coming up into Warrior 3, and then exhaling, slowly bringing the knee forward, up in front of you. Inhaling, sending it behind you, the Warrior 3. Let's do one more. Oh, little wobble. And then hold your warrior three. Feel your left foot is active, your right leg is strong, and then slowly bring the right foot down, coming back into your awkward or chair pose. With your next exhale, fold, and we'll hold this forward fold for a few breaths. Spread the feet a little bit wider apart, maybe 2 fists width. Bring the hands on the floor or onto a block in front of you. And with your inhale, extend the top of the head away from the hips. With your exhale, fold. Do that maybe 2 or 3 more times. Inhaling to lengthen through the spine. Exhaling to fold at the hips. Raising the tailbone up to the sky. Pressing down into the balls of the feet. And drawing the kneecaps up towards the hips. Keeping the attention on the breath. 2 more breaths. And then we're going to come out very slowly. Bend the knees slightly. Feel your core is engaged and you let your core roll your spine up. Stacking the vertebrae from the bottom to the top. The very end, the head rolls up. Then roll the shoulders back. And take a few breaths in Tadasana. An active Tadasana where your feet are rooted down and you're standing tall, but you're in stillness and letting your mind focus on what's happening in your body. Those subtle sensations that aren't so subtle when you really focus on them. With your next exhale, float the hands to prayer. Inhale your hands up into your back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Step or float the feet back. Last time we're going to hold plank. This time we're going to bring the right knee forward and across to the left elbow, if that's available. If not, you also have the option of just raising the right foot up off the ground a few inches. But if you feel like you have the strength to do it, bring the right knee forward and then across towards your left elbow. We'll hold here for 4, 3, pressing into the hands, 2, and 1. Bring that foot back. Reestablish yourself in your plank and then bring the left knee forward and across, squeezing it across. Almost like you're trying to pull your right front hip towards your right knee as your left knee is moving towards your right elbow. We'll hold here for 2 and 1 and bring that foot back. 1 more inhalation in plank and then exhale and lower, hovering for a moment before pressing up into upward facing dog. Brush back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot up into the air, squeeze it up high and hold it there for 3 breaths in 3-legged dog. Left heel moving down towards the floor, squeezing the back of the right leg, still drawing your chest towards your left knee. Still downward facing dog. And then with your next exhale, send the right foot forward in between the hands and the hands forward, and then raise them up in warrior 1, or I actually prefer runner's lunge. So the left heel is up in the air in a line with the ball of the foot. Tuck the tailbone towards the floor, feel that core engagement. Raise the hands up, but let the shoulders be comfortable. And maintaining that connection through your core, raise the chest up just slightly, which adds even more to the opening in the front of the left hip. And if it's available, you can go a little bit deeper. Always pressing that left heel back and the left hip forward so the hips are squared facing forward. Take 3 or 4 more breaths here. With your next exhale, fold the hands down, inhaling into your plank, exhaling to lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot up into the air, squeeze it up high, and breathe here. Using the strength, the back of the left leg to raise the heel a little bit higher, and drive the right heel down towards the floor. With your next exhale, send that left foot forward in between the hands, and inhale the hands up overhead in runner's lunge or warrior one if you prefer. Engaging the right glute, pressing that right heel back as you bring that right hip forward so the hips are square. Feeling that connection through the left foot to the earth and the connection between the left heel to the left hip. Feel that line up the back of the left leg, and then go a little bit deeper, raising the chest up slightly, but keeping that connection between the ribs and the hips. With your next exhale, fold forward. Inhale into your plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right foot up into the air. Exhale it forward in between the hands. Send the hands forward and raise them up into warrior two. Open the right knee and the left hip apart, tucking the tailbone, pressing into the feet, especially the back edge of the left foot, and then go a little bit deeper as you extend the hands further and further apart, the chin turning towards the right fingertips. Go a little bit deeper. If you notice that you're forward or back, rock forward a little bit, rock back, and then find the center where the spine's vertical, and then go a little bit deeper if that's available. Good. With your next inhale, send the back hand up and over so that you can step the right foot back and exhale down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot up into the air, squeeze it up high, and then send it forward in between the hands. Inhale the hands up and windmill the right hand back, coming into warrior two on the other side, tucking the tailbone and wrapping the flesh of the right thigh underneath you as you open the left knee and the right hip. You open the right hip as much as possible without the right knee collapsing inwards. And imagine your arms are pressing down into a bar. So the shoulders are away from the ears and the hands are extending out, spreading both in the front and the back of your body, between the shoulder blades and in the chest. And then with the chin tuck, slowly bring the chin around to the left so you feel the stretch in the right side of your neck, and go a little bit deeper into the posture for 3 or 4 more breaths. And with your next inhale, send the back hand up and over so that you can exhale down from plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. And we're going to do a few uh, downward dog push-ups. If you want to hold in your down dog, feel free. If you feel like this is going to be too much to do the push-ups, or if you want to take a break, you can go down into child's pose. But if you want to do the push-ups, wrap the shoulder blades even more around the ribs, and then bend the elbows to bring them down towards the floor, and then press back up to your down dog. And try to time this with your breath. Inhaling down, exhaling up at your own pace. Building strength and moving slow enough to really feel what you're doing. Moving with control. Do 3 more. And then come into your down dog. And we'll all bring the knees down. Bring the big toes to touch each other and send the hands out in front of you. Just make little pyramids with your fingers. Bring your forehead down and draw your hips away from your hands, lengthening through your torso, through your shoulders, trying to draw your ribs down in between your knees. And if your hips make it all the way to your heels, you just need to walk the hands forward a little bit. But really press down actively into the hands so they don't slip as you draw the hips back away from the hands. Direct your breath into your upper back and shoulders. And then bring the hips forward, come out of the stretch, and come back onto your hands and into your plank. With your next exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Look forward, step or float the feet in between the hands. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive up. Come into your back bend. Exhale the hands down to the center of the chest. Relax them by the sides. And then take a big wide step, pointing the toes out to the sides. And let the knees go out in the direction of the toes. So depending on how open you are, that's how much you can open your feet out. You don't want the knees inside. You want to be able to see your toes. You want the knees in alignment. Tuck the tailbone. Feel the core is really engaged. And then go a little bit deeper. Raise the hands up. Try to bring the hands in alignment with the elbows, in alignment with the shoulders. So for most of us, that means really working to bring the hand back. Thumbs pointing towards you. Go a little bit deeper if that's available. We're going to add a little bit of movement. So with your next exhale, lower down just a little bit. With your inhale, raise up just a little bit. Good. Moving with the breath, really feeling your glutes working as you slide down an invisible wall. Just an inch down, an inch up, moving with the breath. Really feel your glutes working. I don't say that just so that you work them harder. I also mean focus your attention. Feel what's happening in the area of your hips. And see if you can go a little bit deeper with the next 3. Last one. And slowly come all the way up. Step the feet together. Take a moment in Tadasana. And again, just feel your hips for a few breaths. Good. Good work. If you have time and you want to continue practicing, then you can close this video and click onto one of my deep opening videos, which will have a nice long Shavasana at the end. If you need to get back to your daily life, then take a moment now, lay down on your back. Get comfortable, and I'll guide you through a very short 2 or 3 minute Shavasana. Turn your palms to face up, let your feet fall open, and start taking enormous breaths. Try to fill the lungs like balloons, slowly inflating them to their maximum. And then with your exhalation, let the whole body sink down into the floor. Take 3 or 4 more breaths like that. Longest, the slowest breaths. you've taken all week, with long pauses at the peak and at the valley of the breath cycle. Good. After this next exhalation, let your breath become effortless. Let it breathe at its own pace, whatever depth comes naturally without effort. And feel your left leg. Let your left leg relax, sink into the floor. Feel your left arm. Let it relax, let it sink. Let the hand relax as well. Feel your right leg. Let it relax. Let it grow heavy. And feel your right arm, releasing any tension in the right arm and the hand. Good. Then come into your hips, your pelvic area. Release any gripping, any tension. Move up into your torso, your middle back, your belly. Come into the chest and the upper back and the shoulders. Take a little time to let that area of your body relax. Come into your head, neck, and face. All of the muscles there can relax. Let them do so. And finally, come into the center of your chest, the area of the sternum. Try to feel the skin above your sternum. And then from there, move the attention downwards into your center, to that space behind your breastbone. Just reside there for a few breaths. Good. Keep an anchor there as you begin to move. First, very gently wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, and then bring activity into the rest of the body. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly turn over onto your right side in a fetal position. And then raise yourself up to a seated posture facing forward. Good. Thanks for taking the time to practice. It makes a difference, especially if you do it with frequency. So stay with it. And thanks for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.